Hello and welcome to the course Introduction to the Artificial Intelligence. This course is meant to serve as a gateway or an entrance to the subject of artificial intelligence and its related branches such as conventional AI, machine learning or deep learning or data science. The purpose of this course is to provide enough education on the concepts of AI for everyone to be able to learn and understand the core workings of and properties of an AI and show the pathway of development of artificial intelligence and machine learning models. It is important to know that this course will include a little bit of programming but not the actual development of machine learning models. If you have an experience with AI beforehand, it is recommended that you take machine learning or deep learning course instead of introduction to AI. This course is meant for people who have a little bit of background in computer science but have no previous knowledge about the subject of artificial intelligence. If you are such a beginner and want to learn about what is artificial intelligence and get up and running about it, this course is for you. You are not required any advanced programming background, although if you know a programming language, it can be anything by the way, Python, C++ or Java or JavaScript, then the theorems taught in this course will be much easier. But other than that, no advanced knowledge is required. Alright, so what this course will teach you is the fundamentals of artificial intelligence, machine learning, difference between conventional AI and machine learning, and the relationship of AI with data science. There is going to be a lot of theory in this course with practical coding examples, but we will mainly focus on the theory for the first few videos of this course, explaining things like intelligent agents and basic computer problem solving. And then we will move on to some practical things such as problem solving with searching, classical search and adversarial search. Of course, you don't need to understand these words right now. We will cover them later as the course progresses. So with that being said, let's get started. By the end of this introductory video of the course, you will be able to describe what is an artificial intelligence, the different relative definitions for artificial intelligence and its current applications in the modern world. Okay, so what is an artificial intelligence, or AI for short? In this slide, we see different definitions of AI laid out along two dimensions. The definitions on top are concerned with thought process and reasoning, whereas the ones on the bottom address behavior. The definitions on the left measure success in terms of similarity to human performance, where the ones on the right measure against an ideal performance measure called rationality. A system is rational if it does the right thing given what it knows. So we will start off by the definition of acting humanly, the Turing test approach, the first one. We will study more about Turing test later on, but for now the basic idea is that the Turing test, which was proposed by Alan Turing in the 1950s, was literally designed to provide a definition of an intelligence. If a machine passes such a test, where a human interrogator is unable to tell whether the written response of a question comes from a computer. To pass such a test, a computer would require the following things: natural language processing, where it can communicate successfully in a human language, and then it would require knowledge memory, so it can store what it knows or hears, and automated reasoning to use information to answer questions and draw new conclusions, and finally learning from data and extrapolate patterns, also referred to as machine learning. This is the Turing test approach to the definition of artificial intelligence, and it's much closer to what is known as machine learning today, which we will learn about in one of the future videos. Then comes the human-like thinking approach, also known as the cognitive modeling approach, which is where we define a program as artificial intelligence if it thinks like a human. And to do that, we need to see inside the actual workings of a human mind. Through introspection, first of all, trying to catch our own thoughts as they go by, or through psychological experiments, observing a person in action, and through brain imaging, basically observing the brain itself in action. Once we have sufficiently precise theory of the mind, it becomes possible to express the theory as a computer program. If the resulting behavior of the machine matches the human behavior, this is the evidence the sum of the program's mechanism could also be operational in human beings, resulting in the indifference of machine with human beings, thus defining it as AI. Then we have the definitions based on thinking and rationality. The first one being thinking rationally, or the laws of thought approach. This is the base for discrete mathematics, where argument structuring is used. For example, yielding correct conclusion when argument premises are correct. For example, Socrates is a man. All men are mortal. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. Such conclusion and laws of thoughts were supposed to govern the operation of the mind. Their study initiated the field called logic. And so, a reasoning system which is capable of solving problems through logic is known as artificial intelligence. Finally, we have rational acting, where the first we define an agent as something that acts. We know that a computer program does something, and all programs of computer do some task, but computer agents are expected to do more, to operate autonomously, perceive their environment, persist over a time period, adapt and evolve, and act on goals. The rational agent approach has two advantages over the other approaches. First, it is more general than the laws of thought approach, because the correct inference is just one of the several possible mechanisms for rationality. Secondly, it is more amenable to scientific development than our approaches based on human behavioral or human thought. And that is why we mainly focus on general principles of rational agents and on components for constructing them. So by now we understand that how we can define artificial intelligence. There is a lot of deep thought given to these sort of definitions over the course of years. You can study more about these definitions theories on the internet. So now let's take a look at some of the areas where artificial intelligence is used. AI is redefining industries by providing greater personalization to users and automating processes. Such an example of its application is self-driving cars. These cars are computer-controlled cars that drive themselves, and in these cars, human drivers are not required to drive the car safely. Instead, the computer in a car is fully capable of driving a car like a human safely while taking care of its surrounding as well as acting upon and changing in the activities in the surroundings, such as braking when the car is next to it is also braking, collision control, speed management, and lane control, staying in lane with stability, and so on. It is really a pinnacle of human invention. We all have heard of Amazon Echo. It is also an AI-based device that responds to humans according to what they are saying and acts upon commands like humans would do. For example, it recognizes the voice. If you say play music, it will play music for you. These things have AI and complicated developed rules behind them that allow them to perform nice tasks. There are so many applications of AI that we use on a day-to-day basis that we often take for granted. We will discuss more applications as the course progresses. For now, we have learned about the basic introduction, and in the next video we will discuss what are the rational agents and problem solving. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.